do is just kind of share with you guys. Let's see. Can I also share my screen? Oh, perfect. So, and I think since the last time I was at your office, Aaron, we've added some updates to the agent portal, but one will make sure you guys know what the updates are. I'll show you some of the stuff that we added so that, and if you need anything customized, just let me know and we can add your logos to it and your names to use in listing presentations. So, one of the things agents are doing is leveraging the buy before you sell when you go into your listing presentation. So obviously you have your traditional presentation where you go through the comps, let them know how you know, what your plan is with the property, your marketing. But the other thing now that as a preferred Homelight partner, you now can offer another avenue for the client is getting them approved for the buy before you sell program. There's no cost to do that. And it's just going to give them something to have to fall back on once they start to look for properties or they see, you know, once you list the property, the activity, if there is activity or no activity. Go ahead. You're cut. It's you. I can't hear you.
You want to sit over on this side?
Yeah, it's hold on, yeah. Can you hear me better?
So that's the idea. Yeah, I can hear you now. So we'll make it quick, but show you where everything is in the portal. And then make sure everybody has access as well.
I just want to time out for 1 second. I just want to bring everybody up to speed. I know a lot of you are very familiar with Homelight already, but I just brought John in today to bring you up to speed on changes to the program because a lot has happened behind the scenes and you may not be aware of the stuff that's changed for the better. So I really need you guys to kind of be back up to speed, especially as the market is changing and you guys need to really be familiar with your tools. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. All right. So with that said, I'm going to just show you an example. It's somebody else's portal. So let me share my screen. Each of you have access or have you logged in recently to your agent portal? No. So this is what each of you will have when you log in. You'll see the dashboard. If there's any referrals that are being assigned you, they'll go here. Here's the where you have a client you're going to submit to us, the buy before you sell cash offer or closing services. But what we've added in the past few months, and we've refined it in regards to the data that it pulls. But this equity unlock calculator, everyone has access to, and it's property specific. So even before you go out on a listing presentation or you engage with a potential seller, you can run their address through here. They're not going to be notified. No one's marketing them. These tools are strictly for your use, so you can see if they'll be a fit for the program. So once you put the address in, definitely put in what you think the current as-is value of the property. If you don't know, if you know there's a mortgage, you can put it in here. If you don't, it doesn't matter. But then commissions, of course, with Homelight, agents are always going to negotiate the commissions with their clients. Then you would just click here on the calculator and it's going to either let you know if they're approved for the property. And if that's the case, it'll come back with a range of equity that we can unlock up front. Because keep in mind, buy before you sell, we unlock a portion of the equity up front for the client to be pre-approved to purchase another home. The funds can be used to move. They can be used for several different things in relation to the transaction, but that amount is just the first portion they're getting. So once they've been, you've ran it through and you see if they are approved for the program. If you'd like to submit them, you can. The only thing we require from you guys to give them the approval is photos of the property, and then you'd complete a property questionnaire, which we do ask that you have seen the property in person before you fill it out. But if you just wanted to get an idea if they would be a fit for a program before you have a meeting with the client, definitely use the equity unlock calculator. I would recommend downloading the Homelight mobile app for agents because everything that's on the desktop version is on the mobile app, and it'll save you the time to go back to put the information on the desktop because you can do it right on your phone. When you are at an open house or you meet a client somewhere, you can always go back and let them know right away how much equity can be freed up. If you have a client that's interested in the program, or if you'd like to share the information, what we have done is we've now, in addition to the equity unlock calculator, everyone has a specific lead capture link. This lead capture link now, when they scan this QR code, it's going to pull your bio and your info, and I'll show you where that is in the settings. The way that it works at this point in time is when they pull it, it's going to give their bio, information on the program. They can then submit their name, number, and email. And once they do that, you're going to get notified that they've submitted that. That's then also going to share with them the buy before you sell animated video we have, the walkthrough, to kind of give them an idea. What we are rolling out in the next week or so is this is going to be allow the client to then submit their own information. So we're trying, based on data we've received and feedback from agents, instead of just you getting the link, right, and you wanting to then having to go have us contact the client to have them go through and put the information in. If you share this link or the QR code with the client and they want, it's going to give them a lot of information on the program. We've tracked when clients have looked at this, so we see that we've seen what they look at the most. One of the things people want to know are the facts, right? Or the questions, the most asked questions. So that's going to be part of the QR code now. And then from there, it's going to allow them to submit their own information. So they'd be able to do the property questionnaire. They'd be able to upload the photos from their phone. There's actually a link that will be in there that they can text to themselves so that they can take the pictures and directly upload them. You're going to be associated with the transaction as the agent, the referring agent, because when it does get to the time, if they do use the program and you need to list the property, you'll be there. But so what we've taken is feedback from agents saying it's too cumbersome or it's taking too long to introduce a client to Homelight. We're streamlining the process as much as we can to make it easier for you so you can do what you do best, and that's sell and go and meet more clients. So that QR code and the link are specific to you. As I said, the information is going to pull up here in settings. So this is a different agent, obviously not in the South Bay, but each of you can go in and edit your bio, because this is what clients are going to see when they use the QR code or the link first. They're going to get a little bit of information about you. Edit profile is here, and you can always click the that's further down. Here it is. Sorry, view public profile. So when you click on this, this is exactly what anyone is going to see when they scan your QR code or they use the link that you provided. This is also what clients are going to see, or any potential buyers or sellers see, if they do a Google search and they go through Homelight's website. This is what they're going to see, is the public view, and it looks like this. And you can always update and change your public view through your agent portal.
So John, anybody who's on the Ninja team, like Sean and Yoshiko, should not put in their past sales.
No, they can't, because it's all going to roll in under one. Yeah.
Aren't those being fed by Dave?
Yeah, they can all do that. So the algorithm is
now that's not gonna mess them up?
No.
That's
What
not...
it will do though is see how when they hit public view, or this is a public view of this agent, from there it's going to let people know what areas they serve.
Okay, but somebody like Sean, who doesn't have a lot of past sales, will benefit from having a link, like being connected to Dave, right?
Right, and then you can always add the areas you serve as well.
Okay, it's all dependent on areas you serve.
Right, because what she's yeah. So that's where you would find that to see what that would be. In regards to the marketing, we've updated this, and there are one-pagers that you can use. So there's a client pitch deck, which I'd recommend if you have time, you can go through. If you want this edited, we can do this, but agents will use this at a listing presentation just to kind of go through the benefits of the program. There is a one-pager that gives a little bit more concise information on one page that you can share with the client. But the idea is that you're using the programs to differentiate yourself out there. So they just don't need to list traditionally and sell. And in some cases that may not work. So this way you have another option for them with buy before you sell. A lot of times agents won't submit them or get them approved for the program until they've signed a listing agreement. And then from there, you can give them the information and set it up. But you can just mention it when you're meeting with the client that that is another option that you bring to the table. Any questions so far?
Are you going to re-walk us through your guys' program?
Yeah. but I
Okay.
just want to give you that quick update.
Okay.
So when you have a client that is interested in buy before you sell is designed to tap into a portion of the client's equity so that they can use that equity, one, to be pre-approved to purchase on the other end, and also remove that departure residence as a contingency when making offers on their behalf. So when you submit a client over to us, go ahead, Aaron. You had a question?
Yeah, I just have a quick question, John. So, does the client have to sell in order to pull some of this money out? If they wanted to keep their down lake property, can they somehow access this money and
Yeah,
then it
like,
becomes
put
a
in line of
loan,
credit?
or
No.
this is
We don't
it's
have
only a
that
very
now.
temporary?
Yeah, so it basically, it's a bridge loan on the
Yeah.
departure residence at a flat fee. And that way, once you've found their new home and they've moved in, right, that first leg closes, the departure goes back to you to sell. It's similar to trade-in that you did
Yeah.
down there, but we're not buying the property up front. So if you remember that transaction, there's a lot of moving pieces once we're the owner. This way, we're just freeing up the equity. And if you don't sell or are under contract in 90 days, then we step in and buy it. Yeah, but no, definitely the property will be sold. So if you have a client that's a fit, speaking of kids, so I apologize, my son is tapping me. So once you have a client that you think is a fit, you would submit them over to us. We're going to work with you on the current as is value of the property. From there, we're deducting any mortgages or liens, commissions, which you negotiate with the client. The fee for the program, if they use us as a lender on the other side, is 1.7. If they use an outside lender, it's 2.4. And I'll touch base on the outside lender piece in a minute. And the changes that we're making to that. So with the those initial holdbacks, we then would let them know how much equity we can free up front, and then from there on the lending side, we'd be able to approve them for a mortgage. If they need additional funds out of that, go ahead.
Just very quickly, it's 1.7 or 2.4 of the loan amount for 90-day use of that money, essentially.
90 or beyond. So if we step in and buy it, and then you sell the property above our acquisition, the client's still going to get a second check.
Okay. Thank you.
So once we've done those initial holdbacks I mentioned, if they needed funds to stage or prep, we can hold back up to 25,000 for that. We are looking at that case by case, so we can extend that number. And then from there, once they're approved for the program, it also has a buyout amount, an equity buyout amount. And that's if we get to day 90 and you haven't sold the home or you're under contract. If it gets close to day 90 and you have an offer that you're negotiating on, we'll definitely let that play out. Because the goal is never to purchase the home. It's really to help your client move out of their home and help you guys provide a solution that's not, otherwise there. So once they've moved into their new home, that escrow closes, the departure residence goes back to you to prep and get on the market. The idea is now that you've got a vacant home, you will stage it, you will address any cosmetic things that need to be updated. So when it's first listed, it's in turnkey condition. And a lot of times when that's happened and agents use the program successfully, the home is selling for more than what initially they thought it would. So again, you've got it on the market. If it doesn't sell or it's not under contract in 90 days, then we will step in and purchase the home. In regards to getting somebody approved, we now have express approvals. So if you came to us on a Saturday or Sunday, even Monday through Friday, we can have someone approved for the program within 4 hours or less. We're just going to need the initial information from you, the property questionnaire and the photos at this time. Once we've updated that, though, the client can then sign the waiver or credit check. We don't do a hard pull, it's a soft pull. In order to use the program, they need a minimum 620 FICO. And that's pretty much all that we require on the client's part. And then the property information, and we verify title, that they're the right owner, and then how much money, and then they'll know how much we can free up. Any questions?
So where are you gonna go next with this, John, before I bug in with the question?
No, jump in with the question.
I just wanted to know who you might be working with right now that's successfully marketing with it.
Yeah, so we've got some teams that have used it. So the one example in Los Angeles that we've got the pictures of marketing I can send out. There's more than one, but they were selling in like the Inglewood area and moving to Sunland. So they were approved for buy before you sell, paid, used our cash offer program to purchase in Sunland. When the agent got the departure residence, she listed at 779 and it ended up selling for like 959 after they'd rehabbed it and staged it.
But our agents, using buy before you sell as a product to go out to the market with to just open conversations for listeners.
Well, agents using one on listing presentations, right? Because you're now offering another option that in addition to a traditional listing, but also going after expireds. So if you have a specific farm you work and you wanted to go after the expireds, you can pull the list of them, see the addresses, and then put them through the equity unlock calculator to see if there's a range there. And we have marketing in there you can use to market to those clients, either with door knockers or there's a mailer you can send out. And we can always, you can customize it yourself. It's in there and can all be done in Canva. Or if there's something that you need additional information on it, we can help create that marketing piece as well.
Don, can we quickly go through a sample scenario so I can just understand it? We can all understand it. Let's say somebody wants to sell $1 million home, purchase $1.5 million home. They have a loan of $500,000 on their $1 million home. Can we walk
Do
through?
you have like an address we can put in? Or like any listing that you currently have?
Why don't we put in 429 West Martin Shire, Martinshire Street in Carson.
Right there, 90745. What's the estimated home value?
825.
What did it say it again?
825.
Do you know if they have a mortgage?
I don't, but let's just say they have a $400,000 mortgage.
Okay.
I'm sure they do have a mortgage. I don't know how much it is.
Yeah, we'll leave it blank because it'll pull. You can leave these are both optional. On the
Oh,
commission,
it'll pull public information.
yeah, it's gonna pull public
recorded.
Yeah.
Got it. Perfect.
So on the agent commission, you can always adjust this. I'll just leave it at 6.
We
So
have it at 5, but it doesn't matter. Whatever. Leave it
Okay.
at 6.
Is it at 5 now?
It's
Can
at
always
5,
go.
yeah.
So your estimated value is 825. Estimated mortgage balance is 0 is what it's pulling. But that would be, we'll double check that. And then this is the range we could give them up front. So with this amount, we would use this to pre-approve them for a loan. And with the approval letter we provide, any lender would be able to approve them for a loan using this, the letter that we've provided as the funds for the down payment. So if they use that lender or an outside lender that you already work with, once the escrow, is opened and we know, and right, escrow is coordinating with the lender. Once we know they need the funds, we wire whatever the amount is. Say in this case, it's a 621,400 to close that leg. And then they move into the new home.
So let's say they had a $400,000 loan. Can we assume that it's pretty much that 538 to 621 minus 400,000?
So this one is assuming it's 0 at 825 less 400. That would leave us 425,000. So out of that, we would remove the program fee and then the commissions, and then so this amount would be less. But let's go back and say, let's go put it in at 400. And you said your commissions were 5.
Yeah.
So it's going to drop that amount that will free up front. So again, we're not giving them all the equity up front. We're giving them a portion. So in this case, it would be the 147,150 to 229,650.
So now they're taking, so there's a range here. It's an estimation. At what point does that get pinned down? What is the maximum number that they can use? Right now we have a range. At some point it has to get pinned down, or can they use that if they wanted to? They can use up to that 229.
So this gives you the range because there's other factors that we have to verify. This is just giving you a quick reference if the property qualifies. So once you've submitted the photos and we pull title info in the back, we do a title search. We'll verify all the liens that are on the property. And then from there, we'll give you the approval or the client the approval with the actual amount. So they'll know. So
Got it.
in some cases, say they're approved for $1 million, but they don't need all of that at once. Then we'd be able to just free up what they need when they need it. So say they only needed 500,000, or if in some cases, if they're downsizing and they would just be paying cash, then we would give you the approval with the proof of funds so that you could use the proceeds or the equity to pay for the property in cash.
Got it. So okay, let's say after you submit the photos and do your title search, you say that they are allowed $200,000 even.
Mhm.
They would then write the offer on their Up Lake property using this $200,000 towards their down payment.
Right.
And let's say they're buying $1 million property, 200,000 is now 20%. And then they have their pre-approval letter from either you guys or an outside lender for the
Right.
80%, and
80%.
they can go ahead and purchase that property. Once they close escrow on that Up Lake property, then that's when the 90 days starts, or once they,
Right. So when that exactly, so the 90 days starts as soon as it closes. We usually give them 10 days. Everything is case by case. So that the one that I mentioned where they moved from Inglewood to Sun Valley, the agent took about 15 to 20 days to get it prepped. It took a little bit longer, but as soon as it was marketed and listed, it went under contract and sold within 60 days. So
Okay.
we'll look at the move out and then the rehab or what needs to be done to the property case by case. But generally we give them about 10 days. But ideally, if they're already approved for the program and you're looking actively, they're going to start, pre-packing and cleaning stuff up and getting ready.
Got it. And then they move out, 90 days starts. It takes them 2 weeks to prepare the property. Maybe the property is in pretty good shape. It's just finishing up the move out, cleaning it, staging it, taking photos, getting it on the market. 2 weeks later, it's on the market, and 45 days later, it sells. Once it sells, you guys, that's what. So they're within that time frame of 90 days.
So
It
within the
costs them
time frame, it sells, we deduct all the costs, right? Pay off the mortgage, your commissions are paid, anything, right, that's paid traditionally through a listing is paid off. We collect our fee and then the difference goes to the client. So they get the remainder, but it's based on the market sale. So say you listed it at 8 and it did sell for 825, but we had valued it at 8, they're going to get that additional 25,000.
And then if the property is in need of some repair, and it takes 6 weeks to prepare the property for sale, and then it takes another 8 weeks to sell it because maybe the market's a little different, or it got overpriced, or there was some poor decision was made, and we go beyond the 90 days. What happens then?
At day 90, if you're not under contract or there's nothing on the horizon within a reasonable amount of time, we will buy the home at the equity unlock amount. So we will basically purchase the home for the difference, but not the full amount. We get to the amount or whatever the list price is with seller credits because we never want to go in and change, right, the market based on the purchase of the property. Again, all the data we have that we look at when approving a program or approving a home for the program, we have not purchased a home yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And the program fee is 1.7% of the purchase price of the new house, or
1.7 is the final sales price.
final sales price of the first home?
The departure residence.
And
then,
then,
go ahead.
does the buyer, once they're in escrow, they stop paying the mortgage on their first home?
No, they would still pay the mortgage, and we can do holdbacks if needed to pay for that for
So,
90 days.
so when, say, you close on your up leg, you still are paying on the mortgage of your first home, but you might
Yeah,
hold.
you're still paying on the mortgage until it closes. But we can do a holdback for the PITI on the departure residence if needed.
John, that percentage that they're being charged, is that on the loan amount or the sales price?
Sales price.
Sales price, got it.
You're basically taking a loan against yourself at a 1.7% to get out
That's a
of your
bridge
home
loan.
into your new one. And if you want to use your own lender and not your program, then it's 2.4%.
Right.
Okay.
2.4. Fee wise, when we get to a certain number, I think the fees will come down, but at this point in time, that's where we're at.
You have a max price for homes that you work with?
Good question. Thanks. So the max equity we can free up is 2 million, but the max sales price of the property, there's no cap. However, though, right, if it's 3 million or above, the 1.7 fee can be a deterrent to use the program. But if you do have a client that wants to use it, they would be able to, we'll do it case by case. So I had one in Pasadena, the home was 6 million. We didn't charge them the 1.7. We negotiated with them a lower flat fee based on the final sales price. So it was still, they're still able to use the program and not pay the 1.7 on the total sales price of the 5 million.
Because you were still working with 2 million equity?
The max equity we could give them was the 2 million. In this instance, they'd own the home free and clear, but they were downsizing. So they wanted like 1.5 million to buy a condo and like a senior community. So we just gave them the 1.5 million to buy that and then only charge them on a percentage. We didn't charge them on the full 5 million once the property sold. So every scenario is different. So if you ever have a question or you want to know if it's something we'd be able to do, just call or text me anytime and I'll run through it with you quickly. And we can pre-flight anything to see if it's going to work. Ideally, we want to make sure that we're helping you win more deals and that you're definitely using it to differentiate yourself in the market. Any other questions?
Anyone?
Going once. And again, we also have additional marketing in that drop down. So if you ever want info on, here's buy before you sell, our cash offer program, and then the closing services, all of that's in here. And so with the buy before you sell, that video that agents send out is here that you can share with clients, but that's also embedded in the QR code or the link if you do share that with clients. And that QR code can be placed in these door hangers. And that's if you decided to go after expireds in a certain market, you could use this. And you can also, it allows you to put your information on the back. And then there's also a custom open house, like postcard flyer here you can use that QR code can go on.
I think those are really powerful to have in a stand-up like this.
Yeah, this was great because agents will just print it and you put it in one of those plexiglass like that. Exactly.
At
And
your open.
place them around an open house.
It's a really
Because
good
people only
conversation.
scan it when you're not looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can capture. And as soon as anyone submits their information, you receive an email. So it's really a lead capture link for you because we're not going to follow up on them. Well, what my team does is when those come in, we reach out to you first, right? Because we want to know what the level of engagement is, what the client is. So say it's somebody that Yoshiko, you've been working with and they want to get started on the program, we'll touch base with you, then we'll call them and set and do the next steps. But say it is someone that got the information that from an open house, then we'll see if you want to contact them first and introduce yourself and give them info, or if you want us to contact them. So we'll follow your lead on any of the lead capture or the leads that come through the capture links through the QR or the link.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
How are you guys doing in your programs right now with rates moving?
So with the rates moving, we are expanding our relationships. And so that's something you and I can talk about offline, even with Aaron too. If there's lenders that you guys like, because my background's lending, so I know a lot of lenders.
Uh-huh.
We're piloting in LA where I'll bring lenders on, after we'll vet them. But in those cases, if it's a lender we've brought onto the platform that has access to buy before you sell, the idea is that we're trying to give our agents clients the most competitive rates. And we are really good at like a conforming loan amount. But when you get into the jumbos, which I know you guys obviously know you encounter that more in your market, we need to be more competitive with that. So if there's any lenders you'd like me to talk to, let me know.
You hear that, guys? If you don't like the way the program is going with the rates they're offering, bring your lenders to John.
Yeah.
That's how we fix things.
You guys work with Gary too, right, Aaron? Or do you have other?
No,
No?
we're friends with Gary. We haven't given business to him yet.
Hey, I'm friends with Gary and I wouldn't give this. I'm just kidding. I know that.
Well, a
Who do
lot
you
of
guys
people,
use in the South.
uh, primarily we use Brett Leitner with Neo Home
Oh yeah,
Loans.
yeah, okay. Who's he with now though?
Neo Home Loans.
He was at Caliber, right?
He was.
Yeah.
Do you do work with credit unions?
So lending wise, it's much easier for a credit union or a mortgage company like Caliber to approve a program. So yeah, we'll work with that. I'll talk to anybody.
Okay. That's good.
How long
Go ahead.
how long did you say it takes to get approved for the program?
So previously, remember, it took about 7 days because we were doing the inspection up front. So we've now made the inspection contingent. So we can approve somebody in 4 hours or less.
Oh, okay.
Program. And then when you're out with them and you
4
need
hours?
to use the program, you would just let us know, because then we'll order the inspection right away so that we can finalize, so that we have it.
It's a nice improvement.
Yeah. Again, you guys know this, and it's all from your feedback, right? So we definitely take the feedback to make improvements. I think when that QR code is updated and the client can get all the information about the program, go through and read all the frequently asked questions, submit their own information, upload the photos, fill out the property questionnaire on their own property. And it also has a link in there for them to consent, meaning we're doing a soft poll to confirm they qualify. It'll be much easier because we'll be able to turn around and hand your client back to you approved without you having to go see the property, do the questionnaire, take the photos. So, and I think if we expand our lender relationships, it'll be a win for everybody. Any other questions?
You guys all good?
And I know Jackie invited me to a lunch. When's your guys' lunch? Are you do lunch and learn? Is it Tuesdays?
Wednesday mornings, breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The next one though is not till December.
October? Oh, December, that works.
Yeah. So I'll email you what we have.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay.
But if you guys have questions, if there's anyone that doesn't have access to an agent portal, just let me know and we can get it set up for you right away.
Yeah, does everybody have any kind of access?
I think Dylan's probably the only one that doesn't, yeah.
Has
You can get
everybody been
a
in
send
there
you
in a
a-
while?
What's that?
I'm asking if everybody's been in there in a while.
I just logged in.
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely would recommend logging in, because we always are making updates.
Yeah. And make sure it's on your phone. There's an app for your phone.
And the app exactly is the exact same as on the desktop. So only reason to go to the desktop is probably to see the marketing. And then it allows you to customize it. If you're in the marketing and you have feedback or you need something, a virtual assistant will pop up and it's actually a live person that will be speaking to you when you have questions. But if you can't find anything you're looking for, just let me know and I can make sure we get that over to you.
Well, thank you, John. I will take the rest of the meeting to help them through how we can brainstorm how to use this.
Yeah. Thank you. If you guys have questions, let me know and then we'll touch base. Good to see you guys.
Okay,
I'll talk to you
Thank
later.
you, John.
Bye. Thanks.
Yeah.
Take care.
bye-bye. What do you guys think? Are your brains moving? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just not totally connecting the dots. I mean, I get it, and I think it's great. It just, yeah, I guess what it is I we don't have any current clients that need to use that. So once we have a current client, it'll all make a whole lot of sense.
It's more about making sure that you've got your tools in that red toolbox that I keep telling you about. Put the tool in the toolbox, be aware of it, and be ready to pull it out when somebody's talking to you about a problem.
Hmm.
So we don't forget that we can solve the problem. I think we forget. So sometimes taking these printouts with you to appointments, taking them with you to open houses and things is a great way of not forgetting that we've got a conversation starter. So one thing that we did a long time ago when I was over with Caskey was I had these open house like accordion folders basically, and everybody had handouts for different programs in there for every open house. They just kept it in their car. And so they'd take it into their open houses with them and they'd have it right there. So if a conversation started, they could just whip out something and be like, hey, I've got this, and every now and then they just refill it for whatever they needed to, but having something like that QR code, having something like, do you need to buy before you sell? And they would just keep this in their car. So they would just bring it to the open house, set it up every time. And it's a conversation starter. So somebody could be like, what's that all about? And sometimes people will start the conversation just by pointing to something and saying, tell me more. If we have the right question out, in social media, when we're poking questions and we're putting, it's always like putting the question out of, is this you? Is this your situation? Well, I have a tool for that. So in that marketing, it's been a while, since you've looked in there. It's been a while, I think, even Linda, since you probably looked in there. They have really improved a lot of things. They have stuff in there that's like really good to use. It's already done. You don't have to think it up. And you can just pop it in there, into your socials, into your drip campaigns about just, let's ask the question, is this you? Somebody may raise their hand. So it's two ways to get them to engage with you. One, when you're at an open house, or if you're at a listing appointment, having it in your presentation, just to say, if we're in a situation where this could be you, these are the kind, how we're always talking about our process. We're problem solvers. That's part of our 1 to 7 process. Is we are problem solvers, and this is what we do. We have solutions like this. Now, somebody may not have told you in your pre-listing appointment that could potentially be them. But if you just go like, oh, we have a solution like this. We've got a solution like cash out. We have solutions like this is what we do to help our buyers and sellers. It's part of our process. We're problem solvers. flip the page. But then they go, wait, what was that thing about buy before you sell? Tell me more. Sometimes they don't tell you until you're in that situation. And it's just another way to get the conversation started. So remembering that we need to bring the tool forward sometimes. It's not always that they come to us and we then bring the tool forward. Sometimes we have to bring it forward, you know. So just, again, always talking about these with each other. And when you guys have your meetings and you're talking about, ooh, I met somebody at open house this weekend, they might be a good candidate for Revive. They might be a good candidate for buy before you sell. That one might be a good candidate for the buy before you sell cash offer bundle. You know, this one might be a good cash offer solution. And you guys bouncing this off of each other going, well, you know what? Here's the deal. And Yoshiko and I know this because we've been through this with some prospects in the past, is you'll put them through and introduce them to programs, but they don't always buy the program, but now they're in conversation with you and they stick with you to say, all right, maybe not that program, but what else do you have? You know, right? And
Yeah.
and that's where you're getting the, this is how I work for you process going.
Some buyers, like I present it as like, if they're thinking about like selling, they have to buy, you know, they have to sell to buy. And then I'll ask like, what tools are you going to use? And then I can say this program, most people don't like this. Not most, a lot of people don't like Homelight buy before you sell, because like a lot of people, when they buy their next home, they need all of their equity, right? So sometimes like not being able to have all that equity as your down payment, like it rules this program out. But like it works good for people who like take most of their equity to buy their next house, and then the second check is how they remodel their upleg or something. But then like I'll say, well, you can also use like recast that allows you to buy first and then pay down the mortgage of your first, wait, you buy your first house first or your next house first, and then you sell your house and you pay down the mortgage. So I say that, but then like after you talk on it, like they kind of like ask questions, and then you build rapport without really being salesy, because then you could say, well, you can also use like Revive or the traditional way of just like listing your house and then selling, and then but like because I don't do well with like scripts and stuff, but like I can like kind of like talk on programs, I guess.
If you've gotten versed on them.
Yeah.
And you can switch it around because you know how to talk just enough about them to get people interested in them and then pass them off to the lending program.
Yeah.
And that's the rapport building. And that's where you keep them from wandering off talking to other agents. And that's half the battle right there. So with 10 minutes left, I want to kind of shift gears here for a second. And I want to do a quick exercise because of the rate change. And was anybody on the call yesterday on Monday with Fast Forward at 10 o'clock? Okay, good. Then I'm going to teach you something you didn't see. Everybody get a piece of paper out. You guys are going to learn a drawing exercise. This one was a really good one. Okay, I need a piece of paper too because I got to draw, right? Give me that pen over there, please. Thank you. I don't want to do this wrong. I only learned this yesterday, and I taught it once yesterday in a coaching exercise, and it was really good. So, all right, piece of paper. Over to the far side, because you're going to need room. I want you to draw a house. And don't get crazy. It should look like, you know, like the little house like that. A box and a triangle, a house. Okay. Now put a $sign in the box. Inside the box. Okay. Now draw 3 little stick figures next to it. 1, 2, 3. You have 3 little people next to it. Okay. Now, draw a little rainbow. 1, line rainbow over the three little people. Okay? Thanks, Jackie. Okay, now put a crap ton of little dots all over outside of the rainbow. Just a bunch of them. It should be dots, 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 dots. Okay, everybody got it? Okay, now when we talk about this, what we're going to talk about here is this is our inventory. This is our house on the market. And currently with the rates the way they are today and the active buyers that are in the market because of these are the most motivated buyers. And this is you. I'm talking to you now. You're my buyer, Dylan. This is Dylan. Dylan is buyer number one, right? I draw a little U, Y-O-U above it when I'm talking to Dylan. Dylan, this is you. This is the house you want to buy. This house is $850,000. And you're telling me that right now today, you're a little worried about the 7.5% interest rate. And I'm telling you that the 7.5% interest rate is actually, and you point a little arrow towards the rainbow. And you say that is the force field keeping all the rest of the buyers away from this house. So what do you think happens when the interest rate drops, let's say, to 5%? Draw 5%, okay? What do you think happens when the interest rate drops to 5%? What do you think, Dylan?
The dots come out into the force field.
Yes, the dots come out into the force field, right? Now there's more people coming after your $850,000 house. What do you think happens to that $850,000? Yes,
Goes up.
right. So your price point is going to go up, is what's going to happen. So your 7.5% right now is keeping you with less competition in that $850,000 price range. So if you really want to get into a house in the next 30 to 45 days, let's just focus on getting you that house at that $850,000. Okay, because when the 5% comes around, you're going to be what? Living in this house. And you can go refi and let everybody else go. All these dots can go fight after another $850,000 house. Because what isn't happening is this. There is not, and draw a bunch of houses like this. There is not going to be a house for every dot when that drops to 5%. Not going to happen, which is why the prices are not going to come down. Does that make sense in terms of economics as to why we're talking about today's 7.5%? Does that help a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good.
so, huh?
Good.
Okay, so if anything, when you're out there and you're having to explain this, draw it. It helps your buyers understand it more. It helps your sellers understand it more if you want to flip that around a little bit. But learn that silly little drawing. That silly little drawing is really, did that just help everybody?
Absolutely.
I mean, oh my God, it blew my mind yesterday. I was like, holy crap. It was like, that helped me more than anything. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. So if my little stupid math brain got that, and mine is really bad. I'm special needs when it comes to math. If I got it, people will get this. So practice drawing that. Okay? Does that help? Okay. So anyway, anything else you guys want to talk about in 5 minutes? Give me some wins this week. I know Linda's got one. Give me a win, Linda.
My kids went back to school.
That is a huge win. And round of applause for anybody who got through the summer. You just pat on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, and business has picked up, definitely.
Yes. Good.
Picked up a buyer, Friday?
From,
I don't know what today is. What's it, Tuesday?
yeah,
Friday, yeah. Coco. Yeah,
Coco.
now we're closing one from Coco this week, I think.
That's, yep. You're closing Carson, right? And that was from a cold call. Yes. All right, that's awesome. Good job. Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, I have a question. How do you guys scrub your list for do not call
Like this.
to cold call?
Yeah, sorry, I was being silly.
So we don't, is the answer.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, limit, that's them, no problem.
We just call, Yoshiko, this is not a recommendation. This is just what we choose to do. Is we just call everybody.
Okay.
And Mark is the one on the phones every day. I think he's having a pretty good experience with everyone he talks to because he's not being rude or mean. If somebody says that they're on the do not call list, then he'll apologize. Just realizing this is being recorded, so don't share it with anyone.